Welcome to the Epcot International Festival of the Arts. Our next presentation is What Does It Take to Get the Right Shot? Get ready to learn from an international photographer how to get the best photos. Please welcome the seminar presenter, Simone Amaduzzi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Simone. I'm from Italy, and I'm a professional photographer since 2008. Since 2013, I work for the biggest nature and landscape magazine in the world. And the most common and frequent question that everybody asks me is, what does it take to get the right shot? Now, today we have just half an hour. We should go over and over for hours and hours and days. But I'm going to try to squeeze everything in 30 minutes and tell you what does it take for me to get the right shot. Well, I would like to put in the bucket right away patient. The patience is something that I don't have. I'm from Italy. We are not patient. But I figure out later on, going on and on, trying to take pictures, that if you don't have patience, it's tough to get what you want. Now, it's 2019, and everybody has a camera. If you don't have a camera, you have a cell phone, which sometimes take even better pictures. So everybody can go anywhere right now and take pictures. And at some point, technology allowed us to look at the picture, we don't like it, let me delete it and take another one. So sooner or later, everybody will get the picture that you like. Now, let me give you this sample. And this is probably the most patient shot that I ever had. Now, to get this picture, it took me 27 days. Now, magazine called me and they told me, we need a vertical shot of a female bear looking at you. I'm like, oh, okay. So they knew better than me what they wanted. And I said, okay, so what do you mean? It means that we are going to send you in an expedition to north of Yellowstone, and you're not going to coming back until you get a vertical shot of a female bear looking at you. I'm like, all right, sounds good. My wife was very happy that I could leave for who knows how long. And myself, a videographer, and a special tour guide, and 2 soldiers are always with me. Now, when I say soldiers, I mean somebody with the gun. They don't shoot animals. Never happened that they shoot animals. They don't shoot us. They usually shoot in the air if something happens. Now, when they said, okay, we go to north of Yellowstone. It's inside the park. It's a little lake where tourists cannot go. So the special tour guide knew that right there, sooner or later, wolves and bears will go to relax and sip a drink of water. All right, so let's go there. So we hid it behind the bush. And we waited. And we waited, and we waited. And one day it was cloudy. And sure, you can still take good pictures, but it's not going to be that bright. It's not going to be with the colors that probably the magazine wants. So you got to wait. And these animals are way, way smarter than us. So they smell us, they see us, even if we hide behind the bush. And it didn't come. Bears never came. So what do? And we wait, and we wait. So we waited really for 27 days. In the meanwhile, wolves came to drink, but not what the magazine was looking for. So at some point, I'm with Peter, which is my videographer. It was, during that expedition, my videographer. At some point, I had a long lens, and we were shooting and filming a couple of cubs that, for me, they were not cubs. They were huge animals fighting to each other, and then we figured out later on that they were the cubs of the female bear. But anyway, we were shooting those, fighting, and at some point, Peter told me, Simone, turn your right. And I couldn't because I was hiding behind the bush with the long lens, very focusing on the two cubs playing. And he said, no, you got to turn right now. So I said, okay. So I dropped the camera and I turned around, and apparently a female bear was right there. I'm talking about 10 feet away. She was right there looking at us. I said, okay, so what do we do? Peter, what do we do? So, of course, what you think at the beginning is, let me run away. But it's not going to work, even because it's a bear, even because my shape is probably not the best runner ever. And we are carrying 20, 30 pounds of gear. So even if you try to run away, it's not going to happen. So we look at each other and we said, all right, you keep filming, I keep shooting, and I hope that one of the two can make it and, bring the job back. I had two cameras, one with a long lens and one with a wide angle. Usually when we look for these kind of animals, we use long zoom lens because, of course, they are not there, usually. But in this specific case, she was right there. So I had to change my lens quickly, but try not to move because it's a bear. And honestly, I've never been in that situation before, and I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be in that situation again. But I changed my lens in a wide angle, and the female bear started to walk very slowly on our way, even closer than that. And I got at least 200-300 pictures in that very, very long minute. And if you put all the pictures together, you can see that she's actually kind of talking to us. Like, I'm gonna get you. Think whatever you want. It's not gonna make it happen. But I remember that I took the pictures, and I don't know what happened. She got distracted by a big blue garbage can that was right there. So I don't know if it was the shape, the color, maybe the smell. There was something in there. She started to play with that. So we had the chance to step back and let's say run away to the minivan that was kind of behind us. We didn't realize that we actually got the shot because, we were very, very excited, at the same time kind of very, very scared. And so when we got to the minivan, we checked the pictures. We didn't know at that point that she was a female, but the tour guide was there to tell us that, yeah, that's a female. And I got a vertical shot because she was so close to me that if I was going to panoramic size, I would get something else that it wasn't important for the picture. So I didn't think, okay, so I need a vertical shot. That's supposed to be a female. I want to go home. I just took the picture, and when we look at the pictures to the camera before we got to the hotel, we said, we got what they want. So probably it's time to go back home. So we check all the pictures, and this is the picture that actually they choose for the cover of the magazine. And I remember that I got back to the hotel. I called my wife, and I said, sorry, the party's over. I'm coming back home. And she said, can you send me the picture? I'm curious now because every time we leave for an expedition, we know when we are leaving. We know where we are going. But we don't know when and if we come back. But at the same time, it's really exciting because we know before that when we come back with something unique. I'm not going to do it anymore, but unique. And I remember I sent her the picture, and technology now allowed us to send pictures quickly. And she called me back like, are you crazy or what? I said, why? I got a female bear, vertical shot looking at me. And she said, yeah, but it's really dangerous. So the patience is really important. But sometimes, because we said that everybody's a photographer today, sometimes we have to risk a little bit. Now, we weren't there supposed to risk. We were hiding behind the bush. And we thought that the bush was enough to hide and photograph whatever was in front of us. We never thought or we never hoped that whatever was in front of us will come to the bush. It did happen. We got the shot. We got the part of the movie that then they did it about the bears, and this is it. So patience is really important. Sometimes it happens that you just cross by a place, you take the picture, and for some reason, that's the picture. But usually, you have to work on that. You have to organize that. You have to know where you're going. You have to know what you're doing. And it takes time. It takes a lot of patience. Now, because the question is, what does it take to get the right shot? It's not just about patience. It's definitely about luck. Now, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Now, 27 days, maybe it will be a month, and maybe after a month or 2 months, the magazine will say, you know what, we tried, it didn't work. It's not always about us. It's also about what's going on around us. Now, this picture, for example, has been probably one of the luckiest pictures that I could take. Now, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to take a close-up of a squirrel. And behind Disney, there is a kind of little town named Celebration, where in the sidewalk, there are a lot of squirrels. So I said, okay, so what about if I go there one day and I try to take a picture of a squirrel? Now, not just these animals are smarter than us, even little tiny ones are smarter than us. So I got there, I got in position. A lot of squirrels would come close to me because they were thinking I was giving them food. But anytime I started or I tried to click, the squirrel will run away. So I have at least 1,000 pictures of the back of the squirrels, the tails, but not what I wanted. So I said, okay, I need to be lucky, but I can do something about it. So let me go to Walmart. I bought half pounds of nuts, and I got there, and I said, what about if I put the nuts right next to the camera? I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to wait. They are so curious and hungry that they will come to me. 7 hours. 7 hours from 9 a.m. going to the afternoon. I was there waiting for the squirrels. Squirrels are so quick that they will grab the nuts and run away. They wouldn't eat the nut there. So, and this is a sidewalk. So people are jogging, walking their dogs. So a lot of distractions where the animals are scared, and I get mad because you are in the position, you wait and you wait. They eat my nuts and they run away, and I don't get the picture. It was around 4 p.m. I said, the light is going down, the colors are changing, a lot of people are jogging around, it's not going to happen. Let me just pack and leave. I had 1 nut left, and once I started to pack, one squirrel started to come closer and closer to my bag, wondering, why are you not feeding me anymore? And I thought, okay, what about if I change my lens, and instead of using a regular lens, a flat mirror lens, let me use a fisheye. The fisheye is a bulb lens that allows you to get almost 180 degrees in your picture. My idea was, if I use a regular lens and the squirrel finally comes to me, I will see just the face because the face is in front of me. If I get a wide angle, actually a fisheye wide angle, I can put a place around what's going on. I can show where we're at, I can see some sky, so we have different colors in the picture. Now, I put this fisheye on, and I decided to put my last nut on the lens hood. So I'm talking about really pretty much into the lens. So the squirrel came closer and closer, and because he could see his own reflection in the bulb lens, he smashed his nose into the lens, and you can see closely in the picture that the nose is touching the lens. And that has been the millisecond that I could snap the pictures, and then it ran away. It didn't even grab the nuts. So all the other pictures, you actually see over here my nut. Now, if you see closely, you can see myself in his eye that I'm taking the picture. That's to show you how close the squirrel came to me. Now, honestly, if he didn't want to come to me, I could stay there forever. I could be there today and not here on stage, and maybe it will never happen. So you need to be patient, but you definitely need to be lucky, because if it was a gray day, the sky was kind of flat, white gray, it wouldn't be the same picture. If it was around October instead of February, March, the grass wouldn't be that green. So we need to be lucky. The day after, if you ever go to celebration, from that day after, they put a sign, "Do not feed the squirrels." Because probably I wasn't the only one trying to do something with them. They got so fat, and they are not running actually that quick anymore. But I've been lucky that I could take the picture before they forbidden us to do it. Now, we said that we need to be patient. We said that we need to be lucky. But what about skills? We do need to know what we have in our hands. We can have all the money in the world. We can buy the best camera in the world, but if we don't know how to use it, it's like buying a Ferrari and driving 20 miles per hour. We need to know what we do have. And once we are the boss of our camera, finally we can take the pictures that we want. Now, when we buy a camera, we all photograph in automatic because it's easier. Why should I think when the camera can think for me? And we always, at the beginning, we think, oh, this is a good shot. Oh, I got a good picture. But then, at some point, we will see and we will realize that the picture that we got is not what we are seeing, is not what we have here. So what can I do? Well, let me study, let me work on my camera, and let me know what I have in my hand. So skills, it's very, very, very important, because if I was there and I didn't know that I needed a high shutter speed just in case the bird moved his mouth, the picture will be blurry. If I didn't know that changing the lens, the squirrel could come close, well, probably I will get another tail picture of the squirrel. So, yes, you need to be patient, you need to be lucky, but you need to know what you are doing. Now, these two pictures, this one in particular, it's what I call skills. Now, even if it doesn't look like that, this is an indoor pool. It's an indoor pool here in Orlando where the roof opens. So I thought, if I'm lucky to be in a sunny day, even if I'm indoor, between 11:30 and 1:30 p.m., the sunlight is coming through the roof. And if I'm lucky that the swimmer comes out of the water exactly where the sunlight is hitting the water, I will have daylight even if I'm indoor. Now, of course I need to be lucky because the swimmer doesn't see the sunlight in the same way that we see it because of the reflection of the water. But if I'm not lucky that it's coming out right there, oh, I can stay there forever. If I'm not lucky that it's a sunny day, I can stay forever. If I'm not patient, I cannot pretend to take that picture right away. I think I got at least 100 and plus pictures to get this picture. But if I don't explain you what the picture is, it looks like a regular picture where I use Photoshop and I just darked everything all around. Now, in these pictures, there's no Photoshop. We are talking about to get the right shot at the right place, not to work in post-production. That's not photography anymore. That's a editing thing. It's different. So Usually when we shoot indoor in a swimming pool because we want to catch the movement and everything, the ISO, which is the sensibility of the light, is supposed to be very, very high, like 6,000, even 8,000 ISO. So everything will be bright enough to show that it's a pool and the swimmer that is swimming. In this picture, my ISO is 400. So it's less than 10, it's more than 10 times less minor number because I use the sunlight to hit this picture. Now, if I didn't know how to use the camera skills, it will never happen. Now, why would I think of that? Because whoever has a camera now can go in the pool and take a regular picture. Well, I don't want to take a regular picture. I want to try to go over my limit, over my comfort zone, because that's the only way to make the difference or to create the right shot. So this is something that it's, if you don't know what your camera is capable of, you will never be able to take a picture like that. Or you might be able to think a picture like that, but then we don't know how to change the settings and how to let it work. Now, this is another picture that I believe it's a lot of skills because I've been in a garden. I knew what I wanted to do. I want to go in that park. I want to take a dandelion that is flying away. Very easy to think about it. And I said, okay, I'm going there, 10 minutes, done. Tick, click, click. I know what I'm doing. Probably more than 7 hours for this picture because you lay down. So everything that you see green is the grass. So I'm at the same level of the grass. And I thought, okay, so what about if the wind is coming from that direction to this direction? Okay, so what is the only thing that is not going to move? This part is the only thing that is not going to move because it's on the stick. So I said, all right, I'm going to lay down. I'm going to focus to the dandelion. It's going to happen. But you don't know at that point if the wind is blowing in that direction or in the other direction and how quick the wind is going to be, and if you're going to have the wind. I tried in that park at least 200-300 dandelions, and it didn't work. In my idea, that was I wanted to show. I wanted to show part of the dandelion blown away. You can say, oh, I'm turning 40, I'm getting old. Part of my life is flying away. I'm changing chapter of my life. Whatever. The idea was part of the dandelion flying away. And it didn't happen. I lay down, and because of the wind, because of my position, because of the light, it didn't happen. And at the end of the day, the light was over. Overall, the dandelions were over. There was no dandelions anymore. I left, very upset. My wife was with me, and she said, this is the last time I come with you because you cannot get not patient every time. You got to be, take your time. It will happen. It didn't happen. So we went back to our house. And in our garden, we had one dandelion right there. And I said, oh my gosh, we spent all day long looking for dandelions everywhere. We have one in the garden. So let me think, what can I do to make it work? I have the last chance. So I said, what about if I take the dandelion? Actually, she took the dandelion. I'm going to lay down, and at some point, you blow it. Well, at that point, I know where the wind is coming from. I know how quick it's going to be, and maybe it's going to happen. And it did happen. So, patient, luck, skills, think out of the box. I think this is the last but not least, probably one of the most important. We have to think out of the box because otherwise you don't get that kind of shot. Otherwise you don't get this kind of shot. Otherwise you don't get this kind of shot. So you can be as lucky as you want. You can be as patient as you want. You can know your camera as much as you want, but at some point, we click and we take the picture. We want something more. We want to think out of the box. We want to take a picture that we can Google it and not find it. Today, whatever we are thinking, somebody already thought about it. Somebody already did it. can be black and white, can be color, can be vertical, horizontal. But somebody already did it because this is 2019. For sure, nobody did take your picture. Nobody thought like you. We can stand in the same spot with the same camera, focusing on the same point and take the same picture. And I'm pretty sure that everyone's picture will be different than mine. Not because mine is better, because I might look at something different than what you are looking, even if we are looking at the same thing. My perspective is not your perspective, and this is the beauty of photography. It's a challenge. Oh, I've seen that picture. I want to take it, but I don't want to take it the same. And even if I try, it will never be the same. So think out of the box is pretty much the only way to make it happen and be different in a photography world. Now, this is the last picture I'm going to show you today, and this is what I think is thinking out of the box, but of course is a recap of all the other skills, patience, and luck. This is a baseball glove, actually it's a catcher glove. Now, every year Atlanta Braves come over here for spring training, and this is the bullpen catcher. He was warming up the pitcher. There was a fence behind the glove. I knew what I wanted to do, so I decided to put a green cushion behind because I didn't want any distraction from what it's supposed to happen. And I said, hey, catcher, what about if you put your glove in the dirt, you get it dirty, and you stay right there. I'm going to stay like not more than 2 feet away with a very wide-angle camera. You cannot move the glove, otherwise I cannot follow you. And then I'm going to talk to the pitcher and ask him to pitch a fast pitch right in the glove. If my idea is correct, when the fastball, 95 miles per hour, hits the glove, the dirt will explode from the glove. So that was my idea. And of course, you need to know the catcher, but overall the pitcher very well. Because you are focusing the glove, you don't see anything else. You hear it. But when you hear it, it's too late because it's already there. So the only thing you know is that pitcher mount, catcher, a second and a half. So you know 1, 2, 3, okay, and then you count 1 and you click because that's what is supposed to happen. Now, I knew these two guys, pitcher and catchers, very well, so they decided to treat me with a fastball right here as a first pitch, just to let me know that we were all happy about what we were doing. And I still actually have part of the ball over here, but anyway, and I said, okay, now let's get into business. Let me take the picture. And it did happen, fortunately, it did happen at the second chance. I just followed the glove, and I said, you cannot move the glove. So even if the ball is higher or lower, just don't catch it. But don't move the glove, otherwise my focus point will mess up. He actually pitched right there, and if you click at the right moment, you see all the dirt coming out. Now, I thought out of the box, because this is a picture that not everybody thought about it. I'm not saying that nobody can do it. Of course, we can try to do it all together, but you need to be lucky. Of course, he has to pitch there. You need to know what you're doing, skills. You need to be patient, otherwise you leave after a bruise in your leg. But you need to think out of the box. That's the only way to create a right shot. A perfect shot for the glove company was the perfect shot to use it in advertising because they wanted to prove that the glove doesn't explode, but it's just the dirt. So it did work out, but I thought a lot about it. So because the time is clicking and I don't want to waste your time longer than that, my suggestions, instead of just be patient, be lucky, knowing our camera, knowing our location as well, and thinking out of the box, what I might want to suggest you is, don't worry to make mistakes. The only way to make it right is to make it wrong at first. If we don't see what we are doing wrong, we will never get able to step over and make it right. So digital allowed us to make a lot of mistakes today because we can delete it right away and try to do it again. Sometimes we don't have time. But making mistakes is the only way to not get frustrated and at the same time learn and grow up. So thank you for being here today. Enjoy the rest of your day at Epcot. And if you have any question, it will be my pleasure to answer. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you for joining us here at the Odyssey Festival Center. Please check your Festival Passport Guide for everything you need to know about the many presentations being offered at the Epcot International Festival of the Arts. And please, enjoy the rest of your visit here at Epcot. Thank you.